Well, it is now 100% official. Here's your update on what's going on with Snow White, and it's bad. So, we have the numbers now for the weekend, and a working man has, in fact, put down Snow White. I'm kind of surprised, but not really. I guess I didn't think it was going to be like this, and it's worse than just The Working Man. It almost got beat out by a limited theater event from the show The Chosen. A very popular show, The Chosen, The Last Supper Part 1, which I think is just a couple of episodes of the TV show. Very popular TV show. And I just want to point out, this was in a Fathom. This was only in Fathom theaters, I believe, so it was like a Fathom event. They do a lot of these special little showings. Like, for example, Godzilla was in a lot of Fathom theaters. A lot of screens, 2,235. Nowhere near Snow White's 4,200. But just at a limited event with half the screens, Snow White almost fell to The Chosen. If The Chosen had been in every movie theater, it probably would have been number one over all of the movies, actually. But it was only in a limited number of theaters, and it pulled in 11,049,000. Snow White pulled in 14.2. A Working Man pulled in 15.2. There was a moment over the weekend where it was kind of looking like The Chosen was going to overtake Snow White and make it number 3. In fact, some outlets were calling Snow White for number 3 at the box office, which it will be next weekend, because A Working Man seems to be enjoyed by audiences, unlike Snow White. So it'll have good word of mouth and will probably help it next weekend as well. So Snow White, pummeled, down to number 2. And with Minecraft coming out next weekend, it's going to get even worse, ladies and gentlemen, because Minecraft will undoubtedly be number 1. I'd say Working Man will be moved down to number 2, and then Snow White will go down to number 3. And maybe even number 4. I don't know what else is coming out next weekend. Princess Mononoke got a re-release, and that only had 330 theaters. By the way, look at that. Still raked in $4 million. That's crazy. This is what I hate about these limited releases for these anime movies. And that's a Studio Ghibli movie. A very popular movie. I really like this one. Princess Mononoke is a really good movie if you've never seen it. These movies could do so much more if they had a bigger release. I'm very convinced of that, because look how good they do on just 330 screens. So 330 theaters, but that's not a lot. And it still pulled in $4 million. Those were packed screenings. They had to have been packed screenings. Like, imagine, this beat out Captain America. Captain America got beat out by a movie that was only in 330 theaters. Princess Mononoke made $4 million. Captain America made $2.8 million. That's pretty bad, man. A total of $196 million. Damn. That's bad for Marvel. They better hope Fantastic Four is good. I hope Fantastic Four is good. I love the Fantastic Four. I'd love to see that movie actually be good. Now, for it to do good, it needs to be good. So, but yeah, here we go. Snow White, not doing good. Let's go through some of this. Sunday, like a huntsman lurking around in the woods, Jason Statham's A Working Man scared Disney Snow White into second place at the box office. At a time when feature production and development executives have their faces in their hands, baffled at what works at the box office, let's not deny the attraction of the tried and true meat and potatoes dude action movie, which can still find an audience. Imagine that. Imagine that. You think that they would make more movies like this, but instead they've spent the past 8 years trying to make movies with people like Daisy Ridley as an action hero. Nobody wants that shit. You can make I don't think this had a big budget. I think a working man's budget was like $40 million or something. This movie is going to make its money. It's an Amazon movie too, I believe. So things are a little bit different there. I'm sure it'll be on Amazon streaming eventually. I don't know when, but yeah, it's doing good. So let's skip down because it goes through. It's like this is a Chuck Dixon book that got adapted. So I'm sure Chuck's really happy. Probably going to get a nice little payday. The screenplay was by Sylvester Stallone and David Ayer. David Ayer directed the pick. I didn't know David did that. I knew Stallone was a part of it. I think he produced it as well. He likes to do a lot of stuff behind the camera now. So A Working Man gets a B Cinema score. Amazon MGM didn't shell out an MG commitment for Working Man in regards to North American, just a P&A commitment around $20 million. Prime Video took the world on streaming. Warner Brothers is handling and oversees theatrical distribution. A Working Man is the last campaign for Amazon MGM Studios marketing whiz 007 promo Gary Rich. And here's the good stuff. Snow White's $14.2 million is a 66% plummet. They were saying 50%. So they undersold that number. After a 3.7 million second Friday and a 6.25 million Saturday boosted by matinees. Very sad. Again, it's a solid movie. Sure. But it's coupled with bad publicity. I've seen enough of it to know that movie is not good. I've watched enough reviews of it. It's awful. Looks awful. And Disney needs to learn a lesson when it comes to this. Now, maybe they did because Lilo and Stitch, that movie looks like it's going to make a lot of money. So maybe they have learned some lessons. Before we go, like they're going after anybody that shits on Snow White. Sean Lennon, the son of the legendary John Lennon, hit out at this movie and called Rachel Zegler a spoiled, ungrateful, and disconnected brat. However, he also said the vilification of the actor has gone too far. Has it? Has it? I mean, no one's really going at her too hard anymore. We're just kind of laughing at the fact that she tanked the movie. Well, she didn't tank it alone. She's not solely responsible, like I've said, for this. She is a factor, though. There are a lot of reasons that this movie failed. But she 100% did have an effect on that with her mouth and the way she acted. And it turned people off. People got turned off. But, you know, it's like you put a bunch of things in a cup and shake it. She was in that recipe. She helped tank this movie. So there's a lot of reports that she's been blacklisted now. Like, she's probably not going to work in Hollywood again for a long, long time, if she even gets to come back. And that's her own fault. She speed-runned to the end of her career by being an ass. Now, there was one person that stuck up for her this weekend, and that was everybody's favorite pronoun champion, Pedro Pascal. Called her an icon. Good for you, Pedro. Anyway, that's it. I don't know what else there is to talk about with Snow White, unless Rachel breaks her silence, which could happen. That's very much a thing that could happen. We'll see. But I think we're probably at the end of this story. I don't know what else there is to say. The movie's cooked. Worse than we thought. There'll, of course, be an update over the weekend. We'll talk about Minecraft when that comes out. I am really curious to how that movie performs. But as for Snow White, I think that's a wrap. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comments. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.